and for your wisdom and time here. I quickly hand it over to Shravan now, who's taking ahead this edition of The Burning Question.
Well, thank you very much, Deepthi. The bigger question that emerges right now, what as citizens should we be doing? Should we only be talking about what the government or what the opposition should be doing? Or for that matter, the focus should be on how, as dutiful citizens, should we take this up? Amid the worrying pictures that are coming in from China, where the hospitals are essentially overwhelmed, bodies are piling up, health infrastructure is facing major challenge, India essentially is on a high alert. 4 cases of the BF7 subvariant have been found in India so far, but what are the immediate concerns and what should India focus on? We'll be bringing in experts on this show to get you your answers.
As the world sees these pictures from China, there is a worry across the globe. Government of India today held a review meeting to check the preparedness.
Ministerial level review will be undertaken. No panic, abundant precaution. अगर हम उस तरफ बढ़ रहे हैं तो abundant precaution के क्या मुद्दे हैं? पहली बात है कि खांसी जुकाम इस मौसम में होता है. हम विंटर में हैं, हम ठंड के मौसम में हैं. तो पहली अपील ये है कि खांसी जुकाम हो रहा है तो आज की सिचुएशन को देखते हुए अपील करना चाहेंगे कि उसमें आप टेस्टिंग करवा दीजिए. हो सकता है और 90% चांस है कि शायद ये नॉन कोविड होगा. लेकिन अगर हमने अर्ली डिटेक्शन करनी है तो तभी करेंगे, कोई टेस्ट करवाएंगे. तो एक अपील भी है और सिस्टम भी इसको प्रोत्साहित करेगा.
States are on alert.
According to me, Indians are quite safe because of the effective and successful implementation of the vaccination. When 100% of our population is completely protected with the vaccines, with double doses, I appeal to all of them to take this booster dose at the earliest. We will be monitoring at the airports and we will try to send all the positive infected cases to the INSACOG.
कोविड को लेकर के जब दुनिया के दूसरे देशों में खासकर चाइना में इस प्रकार की शिकायतें मिली कि वहां कोविड को लेकर हाहाकार मचा हुआ है, तो उत्तर प्रदेश राज्य में सतर्कता बरते जाने के निर्देश हमने जारी किए हैं. विशेष रूप से हवाई अड्डे, रेलवे स्टेशन, बस स्टेशन और भीड़ भाड़ वाले इलाके जैसे सिनेमा हॉल्स हैं, स्कूल हैं, कॉलेज हैं, जहां पर बड़ी संख्या में लोग इकट्ठा होते हैं, वहां पर यदि कोई विदेशी यात्री आता है या विदेश से यात्रा करके भारतीय नागरिक या विदेश का कोई यात्री आता है तो उसकी अवश्य जांच करें.
Sources say that soon the government will issue fresh guidelines for travellers from China. There is indeed a need for more information and alertness.
तो चाइना के मुकाबले हमारी सिचुएशन बहुत बेहतर है, लेकिन सतर्क रहने की ज़रूरत है, विजिलेंट रहने की ज़रूरत है और प्रॉपर सर्वेलेंस की ज़रूरत है कि कहीं पर भी केसेस अगर बढ़ रहे हैं तो हम उसको जल्दी से पिकअप कर लें और वहाँ पे टेस्टिंग कर लें, जिससे ये पता चल जाए कि कोई नया वेरिएंट तो नहीं आ रहा.
But the burning question is there any need to worry? Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Well, joining us on The Burning Question tonight, Dr. Harshvardhan Puri, Senior Consultant of Thoracic and Lung Transplant Surgeon Medanta, Dr. Rajiv Sood, who's the founder, Dean Ram Manohar Lohia Hospital, and Senior Director and Unit Head of Max Hospital. We're expecting the guests to join in a short while from now. Dr. Puri, if I can take this first question with you. We all thought that this was over, but this comes across as a rude shock. We saw those images coming in from China. One would say that, is this some sort of a panic reaction, or do you believe that there is a real cause of concern?
The thing is that the variant which we are looking at, which is prevalent in the outbreak in China, is B7. Like, the point is that these things would happen. See, Corona is here to stay. These variants will form. They will mutate. The Omicron will mutate into some other variant or something like that. But this Corona is here to stay. The situation in India is far more better than what the situation is in China. The China is going through the problems which it created itself. So much of lockdown, so much of restrictive policies, and the vaccination drive, which is not as good as India, and using a dead virus vaccine. these all things have led to what is happening in China. The situation in India is is far better than China, but still we should be cautious. We should follow all advisories which we used to follow in COVID in 2020, 2021. That we should wear masks, safe distance should be maintained, and the large gatherings should be avoided. Let's see how it fares, but still I will tell the situation in India is better than China.
Well, in fact, we've already heard some reactions now coming in. Some experts, Dr. Puri, essentially indicating that we do have a booster dose. People have taken both the doses, but they say
Yes.
that B7 variant could actually bypass these very booster doses, or for that matter, the precautionary dose, if I may say so. Is there any study to the effect that even if one has taken the booster dose, that may not be enough? And that brings me to the question that should we now once again put pressure on the government to basically roll out another precaution dose?
See, there are no full-fledged studies which have shown that this virus will evade the effect of the booster dose. But the point is that yes, maybe larger studies are needed, but a statement can be made that we will need these kind of booster doses for the upcoming variants in near future also. So it's not that we have two doses and we had one booster dose and the corona is gone now. We won't need any booster doses in the near future, but that has to be studied in detail in large studies. But what preliminary reports are saying that this variant can be slightly evading the precautionary cover or immunity cover which the booster dose has given, but it is not 100% proved in any study. We need larger studies, but although I can say that we will need booster doses for these upcoming variants in near future also.
I'm also joined by Dr. Rajiv Sood, founder, Dean of Ram Manohar Lohia Hospital. Dr. Sood, I was asking this question from Dr. Puri with regards to the booster dose, or rather the precautionary dose. Dr. Sood, I just want to understand right now, for the benefit of all our viewers, is there a larger cause of concern, and what should be the roadmap, given the fact that we are heading towards festivities, and then also the kind of rallies that are taking place across the country? Would you say that perhaps it's time to take a step back, bring in some more advisories to ensure that things do not go out of control?
Yes, you are absolutely right. Actually, this today the new variant has been detected also after genome sequencing in the traveler who has come from China. And we know that in India, immunity is there better than China, but new variants are likely to emerge. And this patient also who has come in November to India, this patient may have infected already, because it causes cluster infections and we don't know what kind of severity is going to be there. Now, coming to the boosters in India, we have already injected more than 2020 crore vaccine the doses, and almost 70% of the eligible population is vaccinated with two doses. And we also know today that in the vaccinated population, the severity of the corona, even if they are infected, is less severe and less mortality. And the boosters which were given in around March, we have already crossed around 7 to 8 months again after those precautionary doses. Another precautionary dose is now required to the high risk and highly exposed population, and this is happening in other countries, whether on demand or mandatorily, and therefore precautionary doses are again required. Pandemic is continuing, pandemic is going on, and now when the threat looms high from China and even in US and other countries where and African countries where unvaccinated population is there, new variants can emerge, and we should go for another precautionary dose or the layering of the vaccination, which is now promoted. But in India today, less than 3,500 active cases are there, when worldwide in cases are in lakhs, and daily cases are less than 150. But any time we may be getting a sudden explosion of the cases, and therefore these vaccination is very important. Plus, whatever we are forgetting now, the measures to control corona, social distancing, mask and all, they are to be
Right.
immediately reintroduced voluntarily.
I also have Dr. Manoj Kumar, Senior Director and Unit Head of Max Hospital, joining us. Dr. Kumar, there appears to be some sort of a fatigue that has basically set in. A large number of people essentially believe that the pandemic is over, and that perhaps remains one of the biggest challenges that the government is essentially going to face. How do you really overcome that?
As Dr. Sood was telling, that COVID pandemic is still persisting, and you have seen the letter written by the Health Secretary to the state that 35 lakhs patients every week worldwide, and there is some prediction of epidemiological data that the 60% of the Chinese population and around 10% of the world population will be affected by this BF.7 variant. So definitely this is a real problem. How it will behave, what will be the lethality, mortality, we don't know, but definitely it is most rapidly transmitting variant, and R0 value is around 10 to 18.6, almost 20. So there is no place for callousness. And have you seen this letter on the first point? Health Secretary has mentioned that the five-fold strategy, that is test, treat, track, vaccine, and adherence to the COVID appropriate behavior. That is one of the most important steps or methods to prevent this spread of COVID pandemic, because you know that this variant is totally different. It is rapidly, it is not taking days to replicate. It is just doubling at hours. So this is high time to go for the adherence of the COVID appropriate behavior. There is no place of any laxity or relaxation. And you have seen in the China that just after removing this zero COVID policy, there was huge number of the COVID patients, and especially because this population in the China was not properly immunized. We are very fortunate that both vaccines, Covaxin or Covishield, has a very high effective vaccine and around 80% protection. But in Chinese vaccine, that is Sinovac Biotech made CoronaVac, is only 50% protection rate. So we are in the better position, but it is high time, because you have seen that the 5 countries, China, Brazil, Germany, and US, all these are facing this brunt of this high number of cases of this BF.7 variant COVID patients. So it is high time to go for the COVID adherence and adherence to the COVID appropriate behavior.
Well, Dr. Puri, I just want to give you the last word. I do not want to sound very alarming at this point in time, but having said that, if you really look at what the situation across the globe, we've already witnessed cases in the United States of America, cases coming in from Japan, and as Dr. Kumar was also pointing out, that this is replicating at a very rapid rate. We're given to understand some of the cases were reported just about a couple of weeks ago. Do you think we have enough time in hand right now to tackle the situation and bring in the necessary advisories to ensure that this does not spread like wildfire?
See, we can't stop the spreading of the virus, as all the experts are telling you that when when the first case arrives in India, it has already crossed all the barriers and may have infected many people. This is a chain reaction. One gets infected, the other gets infected, the other gets infected, and the infectivity rate of this PF.7 is very high. So we can't stop it. The only thing which we need to do at the moment is that we can ask the government, we can request the government to release a booster dose of the vaccine, which should be done now. And the other thing which the general public should follow is to 100% follow the COVID appropriate behavior. The long queues, these big functions, big rallies, these all should be avoided at any cost at the moment. We have seen the havoc in 2020, in 2021. We have seen people dying on the road. So let's be cautious. Let's follow all the mask, social distancing, and all the things. And it may be a request from your channel to the governments that they should be releasing the booster dose of the vaccine now, because it has to be done. It has to be done on frequent intervals because the pandemic is ongoing. It's not ended anyway.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Harshvardhan Puri, Dr. Rajiv Sood and Dr. Manoj Kumar for joining us on The Burning Question here on the Republic TV. This is something that we are going to track very closely, and as all our experts are essentially pointing out, that it is time that rather than being alarmist, it is important that we follow all protocols that should be brought in place.